Many people know me as a professor from the National Institute of Education, Nanyang Technological University. Well, I was there for 45 years. So I am a teacher educator, but I am also an academic, having written more than 100 books. And some of them were used in the school for about 20 years. When I was president of AWARE, I appear like 100 times a year, 100 times a year in Straits Times. So he was very worried, that I might say something wrong. Are we human beings with a spiritual condition? Or are we spiritual beings with a human condition? Who are we? Everyone is waging war. I think we should be waging peace. We have a department of war. I think we should have a department of peace. I think I am a rather obedient daughter. And in the 1970s, when I graduated from university, my parents says that women, you either go into nursing or you go and be into teaching. And these were two jobs which I didn't like to do. I'm more of an explorer, an adventurer. I love to travel. I love sports. But at that time, they say, you need to be safe. And we think that, now you work in healthcare, it's very safe, or teaching. So then I chose teaching. So I have to confess that even though I was for over 45 years in teaching, it is not my first love, but since you have been there for so long, you kind of grow to love it. It's just like getting married. Your parents choose a spouse for you, but you have no feelings towards it, but being obedient, you just live with your spouse, and after that, you slowly begin to be competent as a companion, and also to love it a little bit and to do your best. I taught in school, I taught in Crescent Girls' School, and then later on at Temasek Junior College, and then after that, they gave me a scholarship. I have 3 scholarships, The PSC, Public Service Commission, kept offering me a scholarship. And the scholarships were very attractive. It came with a salary as well, overseas allowance. So I just couldn't refuse, you see. But I think now there are very few scholarships now. You have to pay your own now. Because at that time, in the 70s and the early 80s, there were a lot of scholarships. Because we were building the nation. At first, I think I must have been a lousy teacher because I was really afraid of speaking to people or standing in front of the class. Believe it or not, I was a very shy person. But after 45 years of being on stage, you kind of know how to do it. While I was a teacher, I decided to do many, many things, as I told you. I went into NGO work, which kind of gave me the freedom and the space that I craved. You see?
Which NGO did you go to at that time?
As I told you, I was in women's associations. okay, and did a lot of things, met a lot of different people, traveled a lot as an ambassador for women's rights. I was also in the United Nations, and that required quite a bit of traveling as well. And as you know, I was also interfaith, which meant meeting people from different religions, different cultures, different ways of life. So it was like seeing the world. So I had a scholarship to do in RELC, which was in applied linguistics. And then later on, because I did very well, I had a distinction, they say, okay, would you like to have a scholarship for a master's in TESOL in East-West Center in America? So I said, okay, at least I can travel, you see. I think it was because the government didn't want me to leave, because as you know, I didn't want to be a teacher. And if they give me a scholarship, there is always a bond. So when I did the RELC diploma, I was bonded for 3 years. Then when I did the master's overseas, I was bonded for 5 years. And then later on, when my 5 years over, I was looking to go off, you know, and then they say, we'll give you a PhD, but you'll be bonded for 8 years. And you can choose to go anywhere in the world, you know. So I was very fortunate to have my education paid for me, you know. And that's why after the PhD, I was in my 30s, I could not work in school because at that time there were no PhD in schools. I had to go to NIE. They asked me, would you like NIE or MOE? So I thought, wow, MOE is more like an 8 to 5 job, you know, whereas NIE, as a lecturer or professor, you can like do a few other things, you know, because you are freer, you see. As you say, this is a confession time, so that's how I ended up in education for 45 years, because after all my bond was over, I was like almost 40 years old, and I say, we just stay on. I think an important milestone for me as a teacher was when I discovered that the language that we use is very, very important.
What do you mean by that?
Because language can either inspire somebody or it can destroy somebody. The words that I use to a student could actually help him and, you know, to recover, or it could actually also destroy him. And as a teacher, sometimes we say things and we forget what we say. But let me tell you that our children, our students will never forget what you say to them. They will remember it forever. And then one day they will meet you after 20, 30 years. They will say, do you remember you said this? And you say, what? Did I say this? Let us hope you said something nice. Because if you didn't say something nice, it would be very terrible. And many teachers, you know, because of the stress of their job, they don't realize that they can either make or break a student. Do you know that these words you say is priceless? There is no money attached to it. It cannot be bought with money. And do you know what it does to the child? Wow, I've never seen such creativity. You are really artistic. I really honor you for your creativity. Do you know that the child will try his best to do that again? Do you know that? Because you are the teacher. He treasures your opinion. He treasures whatever you say to him. That's what he wants. He wants this acknowledgement.